Name one way the Ottoman Empire was similar to the Mughal Empire and one way they vary.
So the Ottoman Empire and the Mughal Empire are different in the terms of how much they tolerate other religions. The Ottoman Empire really opposed Christianity, and that's why you see them trying to attack many uh, empires or territories that follow Christianity for the most part, or some form of Christianity, like the Byzantine Empire was like Christian or Eastern Orthodox, so they didn't like that and invaded them. Well, that was part of the reason. However, on the other side of the Middle East, well, present-day Middle East, you have the Mughal Empire. They had many religions. So, for example, they had Islam as well as Hinduism. Both people really didn't like each other at the beginning, but the empire was able to persuade and change the people's mindset so that they could successfully work together as one in the United Empire. And they were able to do so without having intolerance, so they really tolerated each other and didn't discriminate for the differences and worked together in order to make a successful empire. Now, how were they the same? They incorporated many minorities into their empire. For example, the Ottoman Empire had a Christian minority. Many of the children who were Christian were taken to the capital, and they were trained in order to become to take many positions like warriors or administrators or lawyers or judges. So they were really highly trained. They weren't treated like the slaves in the U.S. in the 19th century and the 18th century, who were not treated well, but rather treated highly because they were taking a skilled position which the empire could have collapsed without. Next, the Mughal Empire had a Buddhist minority as well, because Islam and Hinduism were relatively close, even though Islam was less popular at the time. All of them were able to work together, and there was really no discrimination against anybody, so anybody was welcome, and that's how they were different. The minorities were not made into slaves in this empire, but rather just treated as normal citizens.
Name one way the Ottoman Empire was similar to the Inca Empire and one way they vary.
No, the Ottoman Empire was similar to the Inca Empire in the sense that they both incorporated their conquered peoples. The Ottoman Empire turned their minorities into slaves and trained them to become many positions, as I said, like warriors or administrators, while the Inca people took the children of the conquered peoples and started educating them about their culture. While they didn't require you to follow their faith, they just wanted you to acknowledge a few of the most popular and prominent gods there. And so it's basically cultural learning for the people who were conquered, and the adults or parents, they're often relocated to other places. And one difference between the two is that the Ottomans were mostly Islamic, while the Inca Empire had their own faith.